Lynda Lee felt out of sorts when she finally climbed out of bed. Her hair was a mess, her mouth had a bitter taste in it, and her head throbbed. She looked into the drawer of her nightstand and found her bottle of pain pills, newly filled by a doctor friend of Beth's. After a short visit with him, he was glad to refill her prescription and even told her to call when she needed a refill. Maybe just one, she mumbled to herself as she put the pill in her mouth and shuffled to the bathroom and stopped in front of the large mirror over the countertop. She ran some water, filled a cup, and took the pill. Then she turned on the shower, and by the time she'd finished, she felt much better. She stood in front of the mirror and combed through her wet hair while she imagined the storyteller, Scaly, sitting atop his horse, his beret cocked to the side. Though he must have been poor, he had an elegance about his carriage and a very handsome face to go with it. Perhaps he'd come from wealth and lost it somehow, maybe during one of the rebellions, though he didn't seem much like a man who fought. She remembered his deep, melodious voice and wished she could have stayed long enough to hear one of his stories. She imagined how nice it would be to sit beside him and listen as he spun tales, all sorts of tales about the people he'd known. She toweled her hair until it was almost dry, then ran a brush through it. With nothing much on her to-do list today, she dressed casually in capris and a button-up blouse. And even though she had no real plans for the day, she decided that a dab of makeup wouldn't hurt. Lynda Lee opened her makeup drawer, put on a bit of mascara, though her thick eyelashes and eyebrows demanded not much of anything. She dabbed on a bit of Elizabeth Arden foundation, some brow color, and last she added a little blush, a peachy pink to highlight her coloring and match her fingernail polish. She turned her head this way and that, then stood back for one last look. She toweled her hair one more time, brushed it, and as she walked out the door, she stopped. Lipstick. She'd forgotten her lipstick. So she hurried back into the bathroom, pulled her gold tube of pink-violet lipstick out of the drawer and slid it carefully over her lips. She smiled, blotted her lips, and whispered, "Yes, you look presentable." As she stepped into the kitchen to get a cup of coffee, she heard a knock on the door and was surprised when she opened it to see Janine, Sarah, Laura, and Beth, all of them dressed to a T. "Good mornin'," Janine said and pushed past her with the others following right behind. "I thought we'd do some shopping before lunch." Lynda Lee stood frozen in place. "Are you all right, honey? Did you forget about our luncheon today?" Janine asked. "I thought it was tomorrow," Lynda Lee said. "I've just gotten out of the shower." "Yes, I can see that," Janine said. "But we have plenty of time. Why don't you go change and we'll go into town, do some shopping, and then have lunch. Please help yourself to coffee," an embarrassed Lynda Lee said. "I'll be back shortly." Lynda Lee chided herself as she walked back to the bedroom, mumbling, "What's wrong with me? I was certain the luncheon was tomorrow. Am I losing my mind?"